Welcome to the show. I'm Jason Whitlock, and I'll tell you why Rocky Marciano's 49-0 is still better than Floyd's 50-0.
And I'm Colin Cowherd, and I'll tell you why Whitlock is out of his mind for saying that. Speak for yourself on a Monday. We are packed. Starts right now.
Oh, we got some competition up here today. John Horn, Tyron Woodley. All right, hello and welcome. We're joined today by UFC welterweight champ Tyron Woodley and Mike Tyson's former manager, John Horn. Let's start in Las Vegas, where Floyd Mayweather took out Conor McGregor in the 10th round Saturday night after an onslaught that sent Conor to the ropes. Even still, McGregor was able to hold Floyd at bay for the first few rounds and lasted longer than a lot of people thought he would. All right, Cowherd, were you impressed with Conor?
No, and here's why. I knew he was tough. He was. The over-under at Bovada was 9 rounds, right? So, like, I had TKO on the 8th. I didn't think it was going to be a first-round knockout. And every promise Conor made didn't come true. If I was your financial planner and I said, I'm going to get you 10% here and 15% here, and I got you 2% everywhere. Like, what was Conor that I didn't know? I knew he was long and awkward. I knew he was tough as hell. And I knew it was going to go, I predicted TKO 8th. I knew it was going to be a longer fight. Floyd's 40 years old. I mean, I wasn't shocked by anything.
I wasn't shocked, but I was someone that thought Floyd would go to work earlier and take him out. I thought he'd fill him out for a round and then take him apart for the next 3 or 4 rounds. And so I wasn't impressed for this reason. Because I thought Floyd, when I watched Floyd fight, it reminded me and my stepbrother used to fight every weekend where I'd go stay at my dad and my stepmother's house. We'd fight every weekend. He was 9 years older than me. He would get on his knees, and we'd have boxing gloves, and he'd just put his hands in front of him, and I would just wail at him. And then every once in a while, he hit me with a straight right hand. And we'd go 3 or 4 rounds, then I'd cry and go upstairs. Yes. But every weekend, that's what we did. Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor like he was a child, and it took him a little longer than I thought, but he put him down like a child.
Yeah, I know I'm not going to just let y'all say that.
That's
we got to be real. He did not fight him like a child. He took the time. He felt him out, as he's done in many, many fights, world championship fights. What I was surprised with is Conor's ability to counter. We have not seen very many fighters counter Floyd Mayweather.
Cake like that before?
No, I mean, in the first round, it was a clear shot. Floyd threw a shot. Conor slipped it, lit him up 3 times. You see the demeanor in his face. He was extremely surprised.
3 times he hit him once.
We got to get the video. They keep showing the uppercut. That wasn't even the best counter. The best counter happened in the first round.
So your takeaway was you thought Floyd would largely just out.
No, I didn't think that. I thought Floyd Mayweather would take the person that's a green fighter in boxing, and that, like, see what he's going to do. Is he going to come make me crazy? Is he going to knock me through the ropes? He's going to headbutt me and kind of fill him out. And then from round 3, 4, 5, then start to take over. You hear his dad in the corner saying it. Round 4, we're going to pull off. So it was a part of the game plan. That didn't surprise me. What surprised me is that I knew Conor would come hard, but I didn't think he would actually counter the best counter fighter we've ever seen.
Now, you loved Conor going in.
The fight turned out exactly the way I said it would. Conor obviously was better than any of you guys give him credit for. As a fighter.
They still don't want to give him
obviously, he could not be as bad as what you guys talked about him as. It was almost, I had no idea who we were really talking about. Bottom line is this. The man represented himself well. He represented UFC very well. He left himself in a good place. And he can always, what he needs right now is a good boxing victory. If he wants to stay in there, he get him a good boxing victory. He has the platform to do that right now. He was in there with the best fighter in the world. He fought him better than Pacquiao did. He fought him better than others. He landed more shots than Pacquiao did.
John,
let me finish.
It was more entertaining.
No, that's not. No, the man represented himself well. He got respect when nobody across the board was giving it to him, and Floyd did what he was supposed to do. Floyd looked better than he had. He left boxing in a much better place than it was.
Did that hurt?
A little bit.
Out of 49 fights, only 9 opponents have landed over 100 punches on Floyd Mayweather.
How many of them were power punches? How many of them mattered? Come on, Tyron.
Every punch mattered.
Listen, Mayweather landed
a pity-pat punch sets up the power punch.
Mayweather landed 54%, you know this, of power punches.
But he wasn't throwing jabs, though. If you throw 60 power punches and you land 40 power punches, he was only throwing power punches. The thing that impressed me about Floyd is Floyd went away from boxing for a second. He wasn't boxing in those rounds when he was working Conor. He was fighting him. His legs looked heavy. He started moving forward. His chin was up. He was not trying to be slick and precise.
Because he had no respect for Conor McGregor's power. Conor McGregor doesn't know how to throw power punches in boxing.
Would you be on, John, can you say this? When the fight was over and they were interviewing him, Floyd wasn't sweating.
Floyd was sweating as much as I thought he was. My only problem from the beginning was the lack of respect you guys were giving Conor. That was my problem. He could not be as bad as what you was making him. I didn't know what to think.
You know who gave him less respect? Floyd Mayweather. Well, Floyd Mayweather put his gloves up and just kept walking forward all night.
Like he said he would.
We've never seen that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Never seen
Last time I seen him do it the way I wanted to see him do it was with Gotti. I know what Floyd could do if he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Floyd knew it. I'm gonna tell you what Floyd really is. He's one of the greatest students of the game.
Yeah.
He listens to a game plan and he follows it through. He has great respect for his father, his corner, and his uncles and so forth. He talk a lot of trash. He flashes a lot, but Floyd is a professional. He took his career
that I will give you.
In a way that no one has ever done before. No one's ever done before.
Okay, now time out.
And he stood in front of him for all 10 rounds and walked forward.
Now, Tyrant,
20 pounds lighter than him. He had no respect.
Okay, now you're saying he respected him. Did you notice what Floyd wore coming into the fight? Now let's show this tape.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
This was, they called it the heist. Meaning they thought they were stealing money. If they respected him, why would they do that? It's called the heist.
Listen, man, you get that much money with however you get it, it's a heist. It don't make no difference who you're dealing with. It don't mean you have to be in the ring. Whenever you get that kind of money, it's a heist. I don't care where you get it from.
This is the Speak for Yourself podcast. I am your host, Jason McIntyre. Before we move on, I want to tell you that this podcast is sponsored by Barbasol. The biggest thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream is also the only thing to happen to Barbasol since shaving cream. Introducing new Barbasol razors. The brand America trusts for a close, comfortable shave now has premium disposable razors. Barbasol's close shave technology on every razor means you get an advanced pivoting head and ultra-thin open flow blades. The Ultra 6 Plus razor also features a 7th blade, specifically designed to style those tricky areas like under the nose, sideburns, and beard. Visit Barbasol.com and get a $2 savings coupon and see for yourself why Barbasol razors are the #1 new disposable razors out there. You're looking good, America. You're shaving with Barbasol. Now let's get back to the show.
All right, well, with the win,
beat up a child.
Floyd now becomes the first boxer ever to go 50-0, eclipsing the great Rocky Marciano. Afterward, Floyd made it clear this would be his final fight.
We do foolish things sometimes. All of us do foolish things, but I'm not a damn fool. If I see an opportunity to make 350 million in 36 minutes, why not? I had to do it, but this is the last one. You guys have my word. I had a great career.
All right, Whitlock. Floyd just ended his career against the guy who who had never, ever boxed before. Should there be an asterisk with Floyd's 50-0?
Yes, I think so, for the very same reasons I was talking about earlier. He beat up a child. This was clearly an exhibition. Conor McGregor, 0 fight experience. He fought him like the guy had 0 fight experience. Again, the heist. He went in as, I got a chance to make $300 million for 36 minutes of easy work that he cut down to, 30 minutes, 10 rounds. Again, I think Rocky Marciano got to 49-0 by beating Archie Moore, who was old at the time but was a champion. Larry Holmes tried to get to 49-0, was 48-0, fought Michael Spinks and lost. This guy fought an MMA guy who had no real experience in the boxing ring, didn't know how to throw a power punch and keep his balance and keep his defenses, so he was left to throw these little pity-pat punches. This was an exhibition, shouldn't count towards Floyd's boxing.
I think it should. I think it should count.
I disagree.
I think it should count. Remember, Rocky Marciano fought 14
Let me break it down to you. Let me tell you
who were stiffs.
Let me tell you why the asterisk cannot be there. Number one, Conor fought a 12-round fight, a championship fight. 12 rounds, sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. If Conor was truly an amateur or coming into his first fight, he wouldn't have to fight no more than 4 rounds. You fight 4 rounds, 6 rounds, 8 rounds, you move to 10, then you move to 12. This is no way you could put an asterisk. This was a complete professional fight with a complete professional fighter in there.
You know why they let him fight? Because there was so much money to be made, John.
That's not the point. That's not the point. They met every standard they're supposed to meet. This is a victory by Floyd, a great way to close his career. He closed his era. He ended up #1. He put his father in. His father's going to Hall of Fame with him. When he thought his fight he had, biggest fight in his career he had was with Sugar Ray Leonard. I'm sure he thought his career was over with. Floyd did everything by the book. He closed his show. He left boxing in a much better place. I'm very excited about the future of boxing from this point on. You got Ward. You got the big fight coming up next month. You got young guys like my favorite, Terrence Crawford. Boxing is in a great position right now.
And they got a couple of English guys.
And Floyd left the boxing game much better than he did when he came in here.
I'm going to tell you this. This is why you can't have Ashley. Look at his first 10 fights. This gentleman right here is 0-4. This guy's 13-22. One of the guys is 54 years old right now. In boxing, in the beginning of most professional careers, you see some padded records. Do we go back and put... It doesn't matter.
You fight him at.
You can't put an asterisk on any fight. Because Conor McGregor will probably beat 8 of the top 10 of the first guys he's fought. So when you look at these records and you look at, like, this guy never fought again. He made a debut against Floyd Mayweather, and that was his last fight. You know, you pad the records in the beginning. He's already proved it. He's already done it.
At the end.
He beat the best of the best.
The man deserved what he got.
Believe him at the end of one of the greatest
Floyd looked as good last night as Kobe did in his last basketball game with 60 points. That's what I compared it to.
And I didn't like
But it's great for a great fighter to go out that way, and he did a great job doing it. And Conor left himself respectable. If he wants to box again, there's no way in the world he should not be able to. He fought the best fighter in the game, and he did okay.
Okay, first of all, if we have a problem, your bigger problem should be with the Nevada Athletic Commission. But
100%.
once they sanction it for 12 rounds, you got to count it.
Can't take it from them.
Now, I'll say this. Rocky Marciano, let's not make it out that 14 of his fights were against guys that were below 500. They were total tomato cans.
Moore to get to 49-0, a credible.
That was his last fight.
I understand that.
So where do you have to be able to take a fight from somebody? You can't go back to number 32 and take that one. How does this work?
It has to be within the first 10
fights.
Here. So you can't sprinkle a cannon or somewhere?
When you reach a certain level.
Yeah, what level? Off 2 years, retirement for 2 years, and come back and fight the biggest fighter in UFC, and you're going to tell me that's not okay? For no asterisk?
This would be like Kobe finishing his career in the Big Three and scoring 50, 60 points.
It would be like... It would be like Alabama football playing Louisiana Monroe. Oh, wait. They do 3 times a year.
Counts.
Yeah.
And crush them.
They don't play them in the championship game.
No, but they
don't play them in the SEC championship.
But they pad their record with them.
This is the end of his career.
The money belt was on the line. That's what they were fighting for. It wasn't a WBC belt.
Floyd and his level of accomplishment and expertise. Conor McGregor landed one significant punch in the first round, a low blow in the 9th round, and that was it.
More than what you said he would do. Okay, so that's what, I don't want to lose that. That's the main thing I was trying to say. Your no-hitter went out in the first round.
John's fired up.
Threw a one-hitter. And you sitting here giving...
And that wasn't even the best shot.
You said no-hitter 5 times last week. I was on the show 3 or 4 times, and you said he got no-hitter 5, 6 different ways. You said he gets a no-hitter. That's what you said. He hit him 111 times.
I'm going to tell you what all y'all's problem was. The Showtime announcers were incredible. They sold the hell out of this fight. They made everybody believe that there was a real fight going on, and I got to applaud them.
They were arguing like we are right now.
Fantastic job. Malignaggi occasionally would sneak the truth in him. Like, he's hooking him, he's sidestepping.
Yeah, well, Paulie kind of sketchy right now. He was sparring with Conor. I don't believe the fall. Hey, then he was in the locker room.
You bring John on our set. Yeah. You better bring your fight.
I don't know.
Boxing is in a better place because of Conor and Floyd.
All right. Welcome back. We're joined now by Fox NFL analyst, sure to be Hall of Famer Tony Gonzalez, Super Bowl champ Eric Davis. Let's move to Colin Kaepernick.
I've never talked about him before.
Who was criticized this weekend by the NFL legend Jim Brown, who told Browns players to stop kneeling during the national anthem. But the quarterback did get a show of support from former kneeling partner Eric Reid, who took a knee before Sunday's preseason game in Minnesota. Earlier in the summer, Reid said he wouldn't kneel this season, but explained his change of heart after the game.
Just had a change of heart, a lot of thinking, a lot of praying, talking to Colin. When we started last year, if you recall, we said that our goal was to raise awareness and shed light on the issues that were happening in our country. I think we accomplished that goal. What I was upset about was the narrative, the false narratives that was being told about us.
All right, Whitlock, should Cap be giving advice on anthem protests?
Well, it's certainly what he's going to do and has been doing. Through Adam Schefter, we were told he was no longer going to kneel, but now we have Eric Reed saying, hey, I talked to Cap, and guess what? I'm going to be back on the knee because we've raised so much awareness about allegedly police brutality. They've raised a lot of awareness about Colin Kaepernick. And the ice bucket kneeling challenge will continue. I'm not surprised at all that Colin Kaepernick is out here promoting it. I've never believed again, he hasn't put his name on any of his opinions. It's retweets, it's leaks some information to Adam Schefter that I'm gonna do this or do that. But I'm not surprised by all this. I think it's a bad look for him. I think that if I'm an NFL head coach or a franchise, again, I want my players, I'm paying them all this money, I want them to focus on football, and I want them to focus on off-field and activism away from the football field.
Yeah, I do agree with your last point. There will be an owner or a GM that's like, okay, if I bring him in the locker room, is he going to become kind of this galvanizing point for protest? Because I do think most GMs and owners would rather you not kneel during the anthem. But here's my thing. I don't have a problem with Kaepernick being a quarterback and an activist. I really don't. I just wish I would get more quarterback than activist. I'll go back to this. I haven't seen an Instagram post on football from Kaepernick in 2 years. I saw Michael Bennett at the fight. I have no problem with Michael Bennett having political opinions and being a football player. But I know Michael's all in on football. From the very beginning, it's like Kaepernick doesn't have a football quote in 18 months. Be an activist. Kneel. Do whatever you want to do. I just feel now the paradigm has shifted. He's more activist than quarterback. That's my problem with it.
Well, but as far as the question is right here, should he be giving advice on it? Yes, he should. If you can get in contact with him, any of these guys like Eric Reed and any of the guys that are going to take up his cause, if you're going to take up that cause, shouldn't you know exactly what that cause is? So if they can talk to Cap and Cap can say this is what's going on, and then they make their decision that they want to continue to follow the steps that he's put out in front of them, and they want to continue to stand for what they say they're standing for, the police brutality, and stopping that.
His biceps,
hold on, man. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying you said should Cap give them advice? Should they take advice from him? You talk about all the time that he doesn't say anything. So as opposed to them assuming this is what Cap wants, Eric Reed said, I talked to Cap, okay? This is how I feel after talking to Cap. The only person you can get advice from on how Cap really feels is Cap. So I don't think it's a bad thing for them to talk to him if they have an opportunity to.
Yeah, well, when are we going to hear from Cap? I mean, why don't you have him on this show?
Well, Reed talked to him.
Reed talking to him. First of all, and forgive me for not knowing this, but did Eric Reed start this with Cap? Did they do it at the same time or something? I mean, why is he connected? We brought. Okay, see, I didn't even know that. And that tells you something right there. Colin Kaepernick, he's trying to get back into the NFL. It ain't going to happen, especially by Eric Reed coming out and talking about, I spoke to Cap. Owners and coaches, they're listening to this. I don't think you're ever going to get back in the league at this pace. If I was him, anybody I talk to, I would say, okay, we can talk about it. I'll counsel you, but don't say that you spoke to me if I'm trying to get a job back in the NFL. If you want to be an activist like this, like you said, he's not even talking about football, then go be an activist. You created something great as far as I'm concerned. You created some awareness. That's good. But if you want to get back in the NFL, for me, Tony, I'm going to stop talking about it.
And that's where I am. I'm not sure that he wants to get back into the NFL.
But he says he does.
So that's, well, he said he did before. And that's just it. I don't know. I really don't know.
So he had a rally last week in New York, and he's retweeting them, thanking them for supporting him.
But let's be fair. To be fair to Kaepernick, all of us have changed our mind. If you date somebody, you go for a job interview, it doesn't go well, you drive home and like your mind changes. Is it possible that Kaepernick was into football and now like 6 months later, nobody wants to pay him big money, he is absolutely designated as a backup? It is possible that he has shifted. He won't talk about it, but to your point, Is it possible that Kaepernick doesn't feel the same way about football today that he did 6 months ago?
This has been my narrative and my saying ever since he lost his starting job and he was no longer the guy in San Francisco, he hasn't been into football. And in my belief, and it's an assumption, he originally sat down because he was bitter about losing his starting job. When asked about it, you can't say, I'm pissed off about losing my starting job. You got to say something. He's right there in San Francisco, and so where this is the headquarters for Black Lives Matter, so he said that. I want to be real clear before we go here because I've seen people get caught up in a S-storm from comments that are taken out of context. Tony Gonzalez just said, I want to be real clear, that he's for what Kaepernick has started and the awareness he started. And if he wants to go be an activist, Tony Gonzalez, and I am, in full support of that. Let's be clear on that no one's against Kaepernick's message. But if you want to play football in the NFL, there's a way you have to go about it, and he's not doing those things.
But there's a way you have to go about everything. When you get through the door at your house with your wife, you don't come in screaming. How was your day? How was like
not me. Go ahead.
But I mean, sometimes people are being intellectually dishonest. Well, why does Fidel Castro T-shirt in Miami matter? It does. Don't wear it. Let's be honest. If owners and GMs see Kaepernick as a guy galvanizing players behind the scenes, that's not going to help him, right?
No, well, it's not going to help if you feel like anything is going to be a distraction, and that's the issue. Everyone has turned this to a point to where that this guy is going to create
news.
Yes. The media is going to follow him wherever he goes, and you don't want that. And that's the story right now.
Here's my problem with the whole thing. Eric Reid is out over his skis. He thinks he knows what happened in Charlottesville. He thinks he has a nuanced opinion about what happened in Charlottesville, and he doesn't.
Well, but that's
not fair. That's not fair to say.
Half the voters.
I don't think I do.
But half the voters in America don't know all the facts. People have a right to an opinion, even if it's not all buttoned up.
And that's why we should leave some of the leading on these discussions to people who are more informed than football players or television broadcasters. To the Patriots, who lost a major piece this weekend with Julian Edelman likely out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. And Edelman wasn't the only important player to go down during the preseason, with Chiefs running back Spencer Ware and Bears receiver Cameron Meredith both likely out for the year with knee injuries. All right, Cowherd, should the NFL get rid of preseason games?
Yeah, I hate it. It makes me sick. Alabama, when they play Florida State this weekend, will have their third offensive coordinator in 3 games, and their 18-year-old players will be fine. These are 50-year-old coaches. Tony Gonzalez played 17 years. You think Edelman needs more timing routes with Brady? Did you watch the Super Bowl? Listen, if you want to have more inter-squad games, but the idea that NFL coaches can't figure out in several OTAs in inter-squad games, yeah, that Gonzalez kid from Cal, he may stick in this league. Give me a... You like the preseason.
It's not that I like it, but you do realize that college football has spring practice. About 18 practices.
NFL has OTAs.
3 or 4 live scrimmages, a spring game. Guys get hurt during the spring.
And Alabama just has better players than those first teams that they're playing, so it doesn't matter who they play, they're going to beat them anyway.
Oh,
it makes a difference. It makes a difference as opposed to that and going into the pros when you're going against equal talent.
Yeah, they're playing Florida State week 1.
You realize, and Eric can follow up in on this, but you realize that if not for preseason, we would have never heard of Kurt Warner. Trent Green got hurt in the preseason. That opened the door for Kurt Warner. And that's not me saying I'm pro-injuries, but stuff does happen in the preseason that leads to bigger stories and better players in the regular season. Again, I get it, but you can get hurt in practice. You can get hurt walking the street. You can get hurt, and now because of social media and Twitter, someone gets hurt and, hey, let's blow up the whole NFL system.
By the way, they haven't liked the preseason for a lot of years. Did you like it?
No, I'm not big on the preseason. I don't.
Blow it up?
How about the starters? The projected starters, guys that have been around for that amount of time, you don't need to go to camp. You don't need to go to preseason. I'm not saying, okay, go to camp, but you're not going to play in that preseason game. I'm okay with that. I'll show up, be around the teams, get the chemistry, be the leader in the locker room, but I just don't see why I need to go out there in a meaningless game, especially as I got older after year 5, 6. Why am I out there right now? Why am I can get hit. You saw Odell Beckham almost went down. When I was watching that live, I was like, oh my God, if he's out, first of all, everybody suffers, not just Odell Beckham and the Giants.
And the NFL's pensions are so good for coaches. It's not a transient league for assistants. In college football, Nick's replacing multiple coaches annually. New systems, 18-year-olds, they do it. In the NFL, Andy Reid's staff over 10 years may have 2 big moves.
You know the quality of play in the NFL is better than college football.
It should be. It's grown-ups.
Yeah. You know, the other thing, it's a necessary evil. I get what you're saying, Tony. I was the same way. As you get older, you don't need those reps in the preseason games because you already have the film. It's already there. The young guys, you need to be able to see what they can do. There's too much at stake. This isn't college. And I know I said Alabama normally has better players. I know who they're playing this year. I'm saying, you know, when you schedule the lower level teams, you have a chance to work yourself into it. Those are pretty much preseason games for these big college programs.
So you're saying because the business is so big.
In NFL, the business is so big that when you hit the ground, you have to have players that you know can perform. And it's a necessary evil. Now, I think you can cut back on the number of games. And I think that vets, after you've proven yourself, you reached a point, I mean, you got 10 snaps. It didn't matter.
I'll push back against Tony's narrative, though, as well. Tony's a known commodity. But let's say you're trying to develop wide receivers as the Chiefs were the entire time you were there. Having Jason Dunn challenge the middle of the field isn't the same as having Tony Gonzalez challenge the middle of the field and opening things up for the young receivers on the outside. So there was a method to Dick Vermeil and Marty Schottenheimer. There was a method to what they were trying to accomplish in the preseason, and they needed you out there for a few snaps to help the other guys.
Yeah, by the way, I will say this, though. The mentality when you go into that game, knowing it's a preseason game, I promise you the number one thing on my mind when I'm playing a preseason game is don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. Watch your step. Watch this. And I think that's a lot of reason. Then you start measuring, and that doesn't work out.
That's how you get hurt in football. Try not to get hurt.
By the way, before we started the show, we did practice shows. You hated every one of them.
Yeah.
You would complain with management. You're like, these are the dumbest things ever. They were preseason shows. You hated them. You
would have natural. I didn't need it. I was a Hall of Famer.
All right, welcome back. Eric Davis here, now joined by the founder of the big lead, Jason McIntyre. Let's move to the NBA with the biggest move of the offseason. The Kyrie Irving-Isaiah Thomas trade could be in peril. After assessing the injured Thomas's health during a physical, the Cavs are now demanding more assets from Boston's Danny Ainge, specifically one of Boston's young studs, Jason Tatum. Love that guy, or Jaylen Brown. Whitlock, who's more desperate to complete this trade, Boston or Cleveland?
I would think that Cleveland should be more desperate because they need to fix things for LeBron James. They need to secure their future if LeBron James is leaving, making sure they get that Brooklyn pick and maybe another draft pick. The pressure's on Cleveland. I think no one has championship expectations for the Boston Celtics. Brad Stevens, his place is secure. Danny Ainge, his place is secure. Cleveland's got a new GM. LeBron's threatening to leave. Kyrie Irving wants out. Cleveland's more desperate.
I think Boston is in big trouble. It's been advertised. Isaiah Thomas is damaged goods. So if it's next and everybody goes back to their rightful place, what am I going to do with Isaiah Thomas? Cleveland's still got a superstar. I'll find somebody that wants a superstar. What do you do with Isaiah Thomas? The word's out. He can pass a physical. What do you do with him?
I love how you think it's so easy to just get rid of Kyrie Irving, right? They had no takers, right? Minnesota, we're not giving you Andrew Wiggins. Phoenix was not parting with Josh Jackson. There was no offer. That's why they're willing to give him to Boston, their rival, their competitor in the East. But Colin, the other thing about the Celtics, like, why on earth would you want to give more to the Cavs? Okay, you even said it yourself on your radio show. Boston is set up for the next 5-6 years in the East to dominate, right? They got the young stars, they got the draft picks, and now you're going to give up more to your rival who may then keep LeBron?
But you're only winning the East if you have Kyrie and Gordon Hayward and Al Horford. Like, you take Kyrie out of this and you give him Isaiah Thomas, did you see how uncompetitive they were against LeBron last year?
Well, I don't have to take Kyrie out. You know what just happened? Danny Ainge has been talking to Belichick, and they just got Belichick, okay? Okay, that's what he just did. Damaged goods. Do your due diligence. We're doing this trade. You need to get Kyrie out of your locker room. Okay, I'll give you this draft pick. I'm going to get Kyrie because you know he can't come back. So think about this trade. If it falls through, everyone can come back to Boston. You say, what are you going to do with Isaiah? You let him heal. You still have him. You can still find a way to work without him. What do you do if Kyrie goes back to Cleveland? They can't play together. That right there, you just stepped on a landmine. It's going to blow up everything. So if I'm Danny Ainge, I might be asking for something back. If you really want to redo this deal, there's no way I'm giving you something else.
You think Jay Crowder is going to go back to Boston and be happy that they just shipped him to Cleveland?
Do you think really? Do you think Kyrie Irving is going to be happy?
Yeah, but at least Kyrie's a superstar
who doesn't want to play with LeBron.
To be there. Yeah, but would you, if in the end, who's going to have to give up the greatest asset? Kyrie Irving.
Again, LeBron is talking about leaving.
Yes.
You have a young GM trying to prove himself.
No one else can give you the #1 pick.
You got Dan Gilbert, owner that has a little bit of a cloud over his head. They got to fix their LeBron situation and Kyrie situation. I think the desperation is on them. Again, Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens, in good standing. And again, if I'm Boston, yeah, I got the picks. And I just hope that come January or February, Isaiah Thomas is healthy.
Yeah, think about this, Colin. So Isaiah Thomas, I don't want to go back. They traded me. Dude, hey, be a professional. It's not personal. It's just business, okay? You want a big contract next summer from somebody, be it us, somewhere else around the league. Act like a professional. Come in the locker room, be a leader, score your 25 points a game, clean up, get it right, and you're going to get paid. Isaiah can't pout or whine about this, that Boston traded me. That's not how it works.
That's a pretty good point.